Hello, my name is Hannah, and today we're building an apartment in San Myshuno. That's the one. We're gonna remember the names of the towns. Okay, we're gonna do that. Now I don't really know what I was going for in this apartment. I just kind of started putting stuff down, which is a good method. But sometimes it does not work out at all, and I end up not having anything at the end of the building period. But it actually did work out. I'm not exactly sure what it is yet, though. We will see when I name the build. I don't know what it is called right now, as I don't name a lot of my builds until afterwards, because they're just difficult to name until I know and I look at them. I'm just like, that's a good enough name right there. We'll go with it. And so I don't know. It's brown. It's very brown. The apartment is very brown and green. It's like old looking kind of, but also there's like a flat screen TV in the living room. So no idea, couldn't tell you, but it's a big apartment. These apartments I don't use very often, one because the windows really weird me out. Like half of them are white, half of them are black, and they're right next to each other like that too. It makes no sense. It's so confusing. And also these plaques are the most annoying. There's 3 of them in this apartment. You can see 2 of them right now. But it's just like, why are there plaques, and why are they not next to each other? Like, it would make sense if they were next to each other. I feel like that could be incorporated into something. But these ones, I just want to cover up every time. I didn't cover any of them up, I think I may have covered up the one in the kitchen by a cabinet. I don't know, though. I think the rest of them are just there, because I was just like, whatever, we'll just ignore them. We just won't deal with them. We don't need to. And so that's basically what I went with. Also, I thought this build had taken me like at least 45 minutes. Like, at least. Like, apartments usually don't take me that long, but I was thinking at least like 45 minutes. And then I checked on like the timer, or like how long I had been recording, and it was like 28 minutes. And I was like, what? Like, I don't know how that happened, but I built this apartment so quickly, which 28 minutes is usually the time I can spend on a apartment half of this size. I don't know where the time went. Like, it literally went by so quickly. I do not know how I did that so quickly. I had thought I had been building for a bit. I had been watching YouTube videos during there, because I don't know if this was the time I was watching murder mysteries, or if I was just watching random things that came up. One of the two, either that was yesterday's or that was this one. I don't know. It doesn't matter that much. But I thought I had been watching it for a very long time, but I don't know. It just crazy times weird. But I guess also I don't spend a lot of time building. When I've seen other people like talk about like how long they build their things for, I'm like you built for 3 hours. How did you do that? Like, I've taken mansions that do maybe take a bit longer, but I've built mansions in like 2 hours. I'm just like, how do you spend that much money? Money? I don't think we're talking about money. Yeah, Hannah, don't do that. That's weird. But time. I don't spend that much time. We're gonna get the words right. Maybe. We'll see. That's not a thing I'm very good at. But, sometimes we'll just move past that. I can mess up on my own words. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I do it every time. It's part of me now. Just whatever. Move on. We're going to move on actually now. That instead of just saying move on 4 times, we're just going to actually move on, because that's what a smart person would do. So, this morning, I've got like 2 kind of quick things right there. But this morning, they mowed again. Like, I swear, every couple minutes, they're mowing again. And like, okay, this is the 3rd time they've mowed this week. I think it's Wednesday. It may be Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I just checked. It is the 3rd time they've mowed, and it may be the 2nd. I think they mowed on Saturday. Never mind. I don't know how weeks work, but they've mowed so often. I feel like I mentioned this in like every other video, but they keep mowing, and it's always the days that I want to record voiceovers. Like, they didn't mow yesterday. I didn't record a singular voiceover yesterday. They didn't mow yesterday, but as soon as I wanted to record this morning, they were like, I think we're gonna mow today. I don't get it. Also, they were doing better. They were doing so much better. They were doing like 30 minutes 4 times a week. Now they went back to 2 hours 3 times a week. It's just like, what are you doing? There is no grass to be mowed. I mention that every single time. There's no grass to be mowed. Y'all are just mowing nothing. There's nothing to be mowed. I don't get it. Whatever. So that's about it. Also, during the first voiceover, there was like a plane or like a helicopter, I don't know, something, flying object up in the sky, one of those, and it was making so much noise, and I was just like, we'll just move past that. I was in the middle of my story, and it just kind of like came by, and it literally I felt like it took like 20 seconds to get by, and I was like, okay, what? But I don't think you can hear it because you usually cannot hear anything that I mention. Even if I recorded a voiceover while they were mowing, you probably couldn't hear it, but I literally could not think straight at all when they were doing any kind of mowing. So I don't think I would be very good at voiceovers because I can't even like talk straight when I'm in like dead silence. So yeah, that's an issue sometimes. But that's about it. Not for the video, but for those updates, because it has only been 6 minutes, so you're not done with me yet. But for today's story, we are going to go back to the first grade, because I remembered a singular story, and it was a pretty bad story. At the time, I was so like embarrassed. Well, embarrassed is kind of the wrong word, but like you'll understand later. So it was the first grade. We were going to the library. Well, we were already in the library. We were in the library. And so the school we just go like weekly, I think, in elementary school is how often they just take us. It was literally one of like, I don't know what they called them in elementary school. Like, it was an elective kind of thing, but like they just had like 4 of them and we'd rotate. So weekly we would go to the library and they would get us books, and which is good because kids need to read. And so they took us to the library one of these days, whenever, I don't remember. And in elementary school, I think needs to be set up. In first grade, in like middle to late middle school, I was not middle school. Wow. First grade. In like middle to late first grade, I was reading like full-on chapter books at that time. So that needs to be prefaced. I was reading big chapter books for this to make sense in first grade. I know, yeah. Okay. So I had gone in like one of the sections to get a book, and I got in a book, and I know the book because that is literally the entirety of the story. It was a Warrior Cats book. Okay, stay with me. But it was called like Twilight or something. I did look up this book before I recorded this voiceover. It is a real book. I did double check, and so I picked it up, and it was like, and you could see that it said like Twilight across the front. But it also had like a cat on it, so keep that in mind. It's literally a Warrior Cats book, nothing to do with Twilight, okay? But my first grade teacher, who I don't really like, that's the only teacher that I've ever not liked. Well, like one of my main teachers that I've never, like, not liked. But she literally took the book from my hands as I was walking out of the aisle and was like, "You cannot read Twilight, you are 6. And I was like, "I'm not reading Twilight." And she was like, "Okay, don't talk to me," and took the book, put it back on the shelf, and was like, "Go find another book, and then we can go check out." And I was like, what? And me, being 6, unable to like talk to people, and like not able to like defend myself, like this was not Twilight. Like, one, we are in an elementary school. Why would there be Twilight in there anyway? But she had the right thing going through her mind. But there is a big cat on the front of this book. Like, this is not Twilight. This is a book, I think, about cats. I'm fairly positive. I think I've read the book. I've read a lot of those books because I knew where they were. I like literally went directly to that section. I do not remember what the books are about now. I could not tell you. But it was a book about cats. Not anything related to Twilight at all. Still have not read Twilight. Don't want to watch the movies either. I would not do that. But my teacher literally would just like snap the book out of my hands and was like, "You can't read that." And I was like, "What? Okay. What am I supposed to do now?" kind of thing. And I just kind of sat there and like confused. I was like, did she really think I brought Twilight? One, the cover of Twilight is black, and I think it has an apple on it. Like, has my teacher never seen the Twilight book? Like, one, I think Twilight was like the name of the cat or something. One, Twilight is a thing other than a book about vampires. So, not really sure. Couldn't tell you about that. It was very confusing. I did get another book, I think, and I was like, okay, this one, we'll just check it out. Fine, whatever. I give up on my teacher. She was weird like that at all times of the year, so I don't know. But it was just so confusing for me as at 6 probably. I was probably like 6. I think that's what she said. She said my age. I don't remember what age I was though. But I was like, no, That's not what I'm reading, actually. One, that's so confusing. Like, that's so confusing. Like, that entire story does not make any sense. And it just kind of happened. So I guess that's about it for that story. Strange first grade teachers, I guess. Whatever. But we are getting to the screenshots, and so subscribe maybe if you like today's video or the voiceover. Subscribe if you don't like my first grade teacher ripping books out of my hands. I don't know, maybe. But as I said, it is almost screenshots time, so I post a new video every day of the week, so you can watch another video tomorrow. Bye!